Hello and welcome to the In the Pocket podcast. I'm Logan Martin. That's Santa Cook. Max Stern, busy with work. He's not able to join us tonight, but he will send us his picks and we'll get that to you guys. And when I'm doing graphics at the end of this video, I'll just implement it all into each game. We're going to start off with Thursday Night Football, the game that's about to start here in 11 minutes. It's 8:04 p.m. right now. Game starting at 8:15 on prime time. We got the Baltimore Ravens in Miami. The storyline, I guess, is Lamar's making his return home to his hometown or his home state, Florida. Sandra, who you got? Spread seven and a
Uh,
half. Baltimore's favored.
yeah, I actually like that spread, and I do think Baltimore covers. Lamar's coming back. They just got a huge win against a really good Chicago team. Don't get me wrong, Miami's win against Atlanta last week was a very impressive win, a win that I don't think anyone really expected other than maybe a few Dolphins fans. But I don't know, man. Lamar coming back, he's gonna want to do his thing, and I got Ravens 31-20 in this matchup.
Yeah, man, the line's at seven and a half. So the line right here, the book's telling you that they're basing this game off the last year Baltimore Ravens team compared to now. Okay. Tua's more comfortable at home. We all know that. He looks a lot better at Hard Rock. Obviously, Jayden Waddle is the number one option. No Darren Waller in this one as well, who has proven himself as a red zone threat this year. He made a comeback to the NFL, and he's done pretty well when healthy.
Hmm.
You got to get Derrick Henry the ball. Baltimore, Miami's a known bad run defense, and I think if you can give Derrick Henry 20 plus touches this game, you're going to wear that defense down. And by the fourth quarter, we're going to see prime Derrick Henry where he busts out a 70 plus yarder in the fourth quarter and kind of seal this one. So I'm kind of with you on this one. I think this line's right. I kind of bounce back and forth between Miami and Baltimore. At first, I had Miami, and then I talked myself out of it. I think Baltimore gets really healthy right here. I know it's a hamstring injury, and I've talked about hamstring injuries a lot this on this podcast, but I think Baltimore gets healthy and they cover the seven and a half. They win 31-20, just like you said.
Really? Just like me.
Got
Okay.
it written down. Next game, we got Chicago in Cincinnati. Chicago's favored by 2.5 points as we speak. What do you got, Xander?
Hmm. So coming off of a really, really bad loss to the New York Jets, the Bengals are going to want to try and get their get back. And then Chicago, they just came off of a really bad loss to the Baltimore Ravens. So honestly, both teams are trying to get their get back now that I think about it. This is going to be a really close game in my opinion. Um, it's tough to predict too because I want to pick Chicago. But my gut, for some reason, is telling me pick Cincinnati, pick Cincinnati. And I got to stick with it. I think, given the playmakers offensively, Jamar Chase, T. Higgins, like against that Chicago defense, I think those two are going to ball out, especially with Joe Flacco, who's known to spread the wealth. And he's a pretty damn accurate quarterback. I know he's thrown quite a bit of interceptions this season. But all things considered, he's a veteran leader and he gets the job done when it absolutely matters. And I'm gonna go Cincy in this one, 23-20.
This one's a tough one. I feel like this one's a trap game. Um, for the public eye. I don't know necessarily for Chicago. Looking at this spot situationally, both teams coming off a loss. One loss a lot worse than the other.
Hmm.
And, the worst loss in this case is Cincinnati losing to the 0-6 Jets. Or
Yeah.
no, they were 0-7, but or no, they were 0-6. Um, that's a bad loss. And I can't see you just regaining momentum off a loss like that. New York, we haven't seen them do anything offensively. So that just proves that Cincinnati's still a bad defense. Joe Flacco's dealing with an AC joint injury. Expected to play probably. Don't know. He's questionable though. Like I said, both teams coming off a loss. You need a win to get back on track. Obviously, you still have Jamar Chase and T. Higgins you got to stop. But if you can stop one of those guys, it's proven to be that you can stop the Cincinnati team. So I got Chicago handling business on the road 24-20.
1 point off of another bingo.
Yeah, right. Minnesota in Detroit, divisional game, NFC North. Huge game. No Carson Wentz in this one. JJ McCarthy expected to make his return from a high ankle sprain that he suffered a few weeks ago, actually. I'm going to kick this off. No Wentz. And why do we have no Wentz? Because he has a shoulder injury. Why does he have a shoulder injury? Because the O line couldn't block. Why couldn't the offensive line block? Because both tackles were injured. And if
Mhm.
I go to this Minnesota Vikings offense right here, I go and I see Christian Darrisaw, the left tackle. He's still questionable. And then I go to the other tackle, Brian O'Neill. He was limited at practice. He's questionable as well. Let me see if yeah, no word on Darisaw in practice, but both tackles questionable, and that's why Carson Wentz got hurt. And now you got a rookie who's coming back. So be it. They say that he feels great. He feels 100%, but I don't think he's going to be feeling 100% after this game. I think the Lions get after him. I think the Lions blow him out. I think they handle business at home. This is the worst case scenario for JJ McCarthy. The best case scenario for the Vikings, Wentz doesn't get hurt and they can he can start this game. You take the L and then you get McCarthy back in for the game after this, which would have been home versus Baltimore, versus a pass rush that ranks 31st in the league. But no, you're going against Aiden Hutchinson, a guy who just got paid $100+ million, big freaking contract. That defense is going to give him hell. And we watched Detroit on national television absolutely destroy the Bucks with a bunch of injuries on defense. So I can only imagine what they're going to do to Minnesota at home.
They're gonna destroy him. Who
What
do
do
you
you got?
got?
Oh,
Uh,
my fault. I got Detroit covering the spread. I got them blowing them out 31-16.
31-16. I like it. Yeah, given Minnesota's situation as a whole, like you mentioned, JJ McCarthy coming back from that injury, Carson Wentz is out for the season. There's injuries to that offensive line. Uh, and not only that, Detroit's undefeated at home, and they just came off a bye week, but before that, probably the most impressive win of the season for them. I know that they had a lot of blowouts in their regular season so far, but by far that was the most impressive win in my opinion, given the amount of injuries in that secondary against Tampa Bay, and they still handled business. So like you mentioned, I can only imagine what they're about to do to Minnesota. And I got them winning 38-14.
Wow, an absolute blowout. I think the
It's,
Lions are very public play this week. They're not the only team.
mm,
There's a lot of teams this week that are very public. We will go over that. But now that we're on the topic, I'll just kind of mention some public plays. Lions, obviously, we just talked about. Patriots are pretty public. The Colts are pretty public. Chiefs are pretty public. Spitting all over the place. I'm gonna assume Dallas is pretty public. I don't know for sure on that one, but a lot of public favorites this week in the NFL. And now we move on to Carolina in Green Bay. Okay, so there's a 13.5 spread, probably the second least appealing game on the board. Andy Dalton sucks, man. There's no way Carolina's going to score any points. I mean, they'll probably score points, but
not,
not comfortably. It's going to they're going to suffer an arm and a leg just to get down the field
yep.
against this Green Bay defense that, yeah, it was close against Pittsburgh for majority of the game, but they pulled away. That takes something, to play down a level of competition, hang with the Steelers a little bit, and then just shift a gear completely and then just pull away. That only good teams can really do that.
Mhm.
Bad teams usually hang around and make it like a 3-point game, 2-point game, game winning drive. Not Green Bay. They're going to handle business. This is going to be a low scoring game. Green Bay wins 31-13.
Yeah, I'm right there with you. I think Green Bay at home, they're down 16-7 at halftime against the Steelers, and the final score ended up being, what was it, 35-24.
35-25, yeah.
Yeah, so they just completely shifted gears in that second half and just totally dominated the Steelers in that second half. Granted, Steelers coaching staff isn't the best. I've said that for years, but it's still super impressive to be down 9 at halftime and then just completely dominate your competition in that second half. It was impressive. I mean, obviously, as a Steelers fan, I was devastated by how ass the team was in the second half. but I was more impressed with how great, not good, how great Green Bay is when that second half kicks in. And now you're going up against Carolina. They don't have Bryce Young. They have Andy Dalton, who was very lackadaisical against that Buffalo defense. And Buffalo's defense is known to give up those huge plays, and the fact that you can only get 9 points is devastating. So I don't think this is going to be a competition at all. I got Green Bay covering 35-10.
Same page again on that one. Indianapolis and Pittsburgh. Your Pittsburgh Steelers at home against who you think is the best team in the NFL,
Hmm.
and who Max thinks is the best team in the NFL, and who I think is a top five team in the NFL, and then Indianapolis Colts.
I think.
Xander, I I've watched some like videos, like every week I watch videos not to take obviously what they say, but just to add insight. If I hear a certain stat that I want to add, I got a spreadsheet that has all of these stats, so I can tell you any little like little advanced stat that you want to hear about the NFL. I can tell you about any team. Okay. For instance, Indianapolis on the road averages 33 points. They average 34 at home. So they've proven to score on the road just like they do at home, which they have a pretty good underrated home crowd, I think. I
Mhm.
think Indianapolis stays rolling, man. I don't know how this line's only three. At some
The
point,
fact that I didn't even know it was three. That's hilarious.
it's three. And if I were to price this game, it'd be at 6 or 7.
I agree with you.
So I got Indianapolis win this game and covering, and they won 30-20.
Yeah, yeah, I'm right there with you. I mean, Pittsburgh is ranked last in terms of pass defense, and Daniel Jones is having a resurgence type of year with the Indianapolis Colts. You got Michael Pittman, Josh Downs, you have Adonai Mitchell, you have Jonathan Taylor who can be a threat in the pass game, and then you have Tyler Warren as a tremendous tight end for a rookie. He has played like a top three tight end, arguably could be number one as a tight end right now, in my opinion. I think he's the best tight end in football right now. And I don't even think that's a hot take. So the fact that Daniel Jones has all these weapons, you're going up against the worst pass defense in the league, and then you have Jonathan Taylor in the run game. Pittsburgh is middle of the pack in terms of the run, but they just gave up over 150 rushing yards against Cincinnati last week. Now you have a guy who's averaging over 100 yards a game. He's damn near averaging 3 touchdowns a game. We're going to get cooked, dude. We're going to get cooked. And I have no hope for the Steelers even making this a game. I think it's a lot like last week. I think Colts win 37-23.
I like it, man. And I write all these notes on my paper and I don't even say any of them. Um, so I'm just gonna go through some things. Daniel Jones is fourth in the league so far in passing, if you don't know. He's 2,062 yards. Jonathan Taylor, number one in rushing yards, 850. He also has 12 rushing touchdowns. And if you look at his career through 5 seasons, this is his sixth season in the NFL. So through 5 seasons previously, if you were to count this year, he'd be second in his career in touchdowns throughout his career. His second most touchdowns he's gotten in the season previously was 11. He got that twice, I think in his rookie year and I think it was last year. And other than that, his most was I can't remember, but he has now he's at 12 now. He's got the second most
Halfway
touchdowns
through the
he's ever
year.
got. Yeah, no, and you're halfway through the season, man. He's cooking. And Pittsburgh's D, like you said, allowing the most passing yards a game. Pittsburgh struggles to get off the field on defense. The only positive about Pittsburgh's defense is their red zone defense. But the problem is the Colts have a really good red zone offense. They have the best red zone running back in Jonathan Taylor, and they have the best tight end in the league, like you said, Tyler Warren. And I had that written down in my notes. So when you give me the best tight end and give me the best running back against a good red zone defense, I think I would be comfortable scoring points every time we got inside the 10-yard line.
Mhm.
Pittsburgh statistically is a mid to below average team going against a top five team, maybe even a top three team, arguably, who isn't slowing down in Indianapolis. The second half against the Packers, like I mentioned, proves that there's not enough firepower versus a good defense. Um, Indianapolis is first in points per game, yards per play, yards a game, top three in yards per completion, yards per pass attempt, third down completion percentage, and turnovers a game. Indianapolis struggles versus pass first downs, opponent pass, and third down D. So like the most concerning thing that for Pittsburgh is DK Metcalf, and he can't catch football this year. So like you mentioned, Indianapolis is going to dominate. They dominate statistically in all stat categories. So it's just a great matchup for Indianapolis, and I'm surprised the line's 3. Next game we
So
got.
a couple, a few stats I found interesting.
Go ahead.
And the fact this is why I have the Colts as number one in the power rankings. They have a higher EPA than the 2007 Patriots. The year they went undefeated, Tom Brady threw 50 touchdowns, Randy Moss caught 21 touchdowns. They average more points per drive than that 2007 Patriots. Colts are averaging 3.57 points per drive. That
Oh,
is insane.
that's insane.
That's insane.
You don't see that.
If you stack them up with the Patriots, that 3.57 that '07 team, I think like 3.18.
Right. And
It's
like if you saw that through the 2 weeks, you'd say that's not sustainable. But to be doing that through 7 weeks in the NFL is, or it's been
through
more than
8 weeks.
that. Yeah, 8 weeks in the NFL. Like that's insane, man. Going into
Mhm.
week
And
9,
then
they're still doing that.
and then I have a stat right here. The Steelers over the last 3 years against the Colts defensive coordinator, while he was with Cincinnati as well. The Steelers averaged 358 yards per game against this defensive coordinator and 27 points per game in their last 6 matchups against this guy. The bad news, the Steelers have been killed by Shane Steichen. Every time he's been the offensive play caller versus the Steelers have given up 377 yards per game,
Wow.
31 points per game in the three
Wow.
games he's play called
What
versus
a
the.
stat. Yeah, I mean that's a recipe for disaster if you're Pittsburgh.
Mhm.
And Indianapolis might be the most public play on the board. And obviously, because like I mentioned, I think that line should be 6 or 7. It's going to be very public, and that's what scares me. That's what I hate. That last week favorites were very dominant, but do we see that happen in 2 weeks in a row in the NFL so far this year has proven that that's
Like
not the case. But hopefully we're right because this could go either really good or really bad.
with this, like the Colts have the better offense and the Colts have the better defense, so I think it's a no-brainer.
Kind of
All I'm
like,
saying is if the Steelers somehow win this game, which they won't, but if they do, I pray to God they don't win this game because if they do, I will be back and saying, "Oh, we're gonna go to the playoffs. This is a
oh my
really."
God, if you guys win this game, that's a boost. That's a huge boost in momentum.
Oh
That's
yeah,
like that's not your Super Bowl, but that's like what gets you
take
on
it back.
track.
Exactly.
All right, next game. Let's try to keep this moving. Falcons at Patriots, man. Patriots home again. The Patriots stay hot and they stay covering the spread. Atlanta has looked great at times and they've looked really bad. Too much really bad. That's the problem with this Atlanta team. The run game and the offensive line can be dangerous, but if that stops, the whole Atlanta offense is one dimensional and it just looks horrible. We saw him score 0 against Carolina, and we also see him last week just absolutely struggle against Miami when they're favored by 7.5 points.
Mhm.
Atlanta really did good in play action. The first few weeks of the season, they didn't really stick with it, and then I think it was week 4 or 5 they implemented a little bit of play action in the play calling, and the offense looked great. And we saw them get a win against Buffalo, and that was a huge game, a huge win. And then we see them the next week go down and shit the bed, and then the week after that shit the bed.
Mhm.
So. I don't have a lot of hope with this Atlanta offense, with this Atlanta team. I think the defense is better than the offense, and I think the Patriots roll, man. I think give me the Patriots 27-17. They cover the 5.5 point spread.
Yeah, I like that pick, and I mean
Oh,
Drake.
Atlanta on the road is averaging 10 points per game. I had to put that out there. That's bad.
Yeah, Drake May has been freaking balling this year, and I'm a known Patriots hater. I hate that they're so successful this season, but you know what I hate more than that? Is I hate how fun they are to watch. I'm having fun watching the Patriots, and I despise that team. The fact that you can be so ass for just 2, 3 years and then you're automatically out of that rebuild and in contention. I hate that shit. Why can't we be like that? Why can't we have a good team at like when we suck? I hate it. But dude, this Patriots team, man, they're different. They are different. That defense has been forcing turnovers. That offense has been clicking in the run game, especially in the passing game. And now you're going up against an Atlanta team that just gave up 34 points to the Dolphins. They gave up 30 to the Panthers. They got shut out by the Panthers. They only scored 10 against Miami. Dude, this is not going to be a good game for Atlanta. I got Patriots 27 to 10.
Love it, man. Love it. Back in my team. Next game. This one's an interesting one. You got the 49ers in New York to play the Giants, okay? The Niners are favored by 2.5 points. Who did the Niners play last week? Was it the Houston Texans?
Yep.
And Houston was favored by 2.5 points, short favorite, or 1.5.
Hmm.
And now it's like the similar situation, but the line's flipped. And in my opinion, I think the Niners and Giants game is a pick 'em if Scottaboo plays in this game. I feel like the book is giving San Fran a slight edge because the spark this Giants team has needed coming into this year and had in a rookie at running back.
Hmm.
I think they're giving San Fran an extra 1 or 2 points here. So I'm gonna price this game as a pick 'em. So in that case, I think New York covers the 2.5 spread. I'm talk about a little bit why. The Giants D has been much better at home, allowing 19 points per game compared to 32 points per game they allow on the road.
Hmm.
Purdy is limited in practice on Wednesday. We don't know if he's going to be back. He's still questionable. C-Mac last game had 11 touchdowns. I don't know if that means he's a little banged up and we don't know about it, or if they just refused to give him the football. But obviously that didn't work out as they lost to the Texans. And also we got to give the Texans a little bit of credit on defensively for that because maybe they knew that giving C-Mac the ball was not going to just fix all their problems against potentially probably the best defensive team in the NFL in the Houston Texans. So I think they play for scat in this game. I think the Giants cover the 2.5 point spread, and I think they win outright 27-23.
Damn. You said, what was your score?
27-23 New York
27.
Giants.
I thought you said 37. I would have been
No.
like, whoa,
Yeah,
whoa.
yeah, yeah.
Uh,
27-23 New York.
oh, okay. Actually, I'm not mad by that pick because beforehand, before the podcast, I was looking at the games this week and I was like, ooh, 49ers, Giants. I don't know who the hell to pick because both teams are so messed up with injuries, dude. It is just really, really hard to pick who wins in this game. Um, I think this is the most evenly matched game this week. And you say that to someone earlier this season with a healthy Niners team and a healthy Giants team, people would have said San Fran 41 to 13, 41-16. Not at this point in the season, given the circumstances. And I think it's going to be a really, really fun game. Um, but I just like the Niners team more than the Giants team. And what I mean by that is I like their backups more than I like the Giants backups. The 49ers backups, they play with a lot of heart and they're able to win you some games. I don't see that with the Giants backups. No Scattaboo hurts a lot. You don't have Malik Neighbors. And you need your weapons when you're going up against a Robert Saleh led defense, man. So I got San Fran in this one 30-27.
I like it, man. High scoring game. Next one, we'll let you kick this off. We got the Denver Broncos in Houston. Who do you think's favored in this?
This was another game I was looking at beforehand.
Houston is favored by 1.5 points, man. 1.5 points. Who you got?
It's actually so tough because the Texans have such a great defense and they showcase why against San Fran, only letting up 16 points. And they showcased it all year too. But Denver, they just put up 44 against Dallas. Granted, Dallas has a really, really bad defense. And then they put up 33 in a single quarter against the Giants. That Denver team is rolling, dude. They are rolling. Bo Nix has looked like his rookie year self. He's balling right now. He's connected. He's connecting with Franklin, Mims, Sutton. The run game, it's okay, but it still makes some splash plays here and there. I love Harvey Jr. as a running back, and that Denver defense is also really good. So this is tough. Earlier I had Houston winning this, but the more I look at it, the more I'm like, dude, I can't go against Denver right now. And I got Denver 28-24.
Man, you think like I think, because Houston's favored by 1.5 points. I don't agree with that. But when I say I don't agree with that and I stop and I think about it a little bit, well, Denver's gotten really lucky this year. Denver offensively has looked bad for 3 quarters in a couple games this year. Denver has had to flip the switch in the fourth quarter and had to turn around. If Denver finds himself having to flip a switch in the fourth quarter, I don't think that works against this Houston defense. I
Oh
think
no,
this Houston
absolutely
defense
not.
is the best defense in the league. I've been saying that for weeks now, and not to mention the Broncos offense. I think lacks a lot of offensive firepower. I've been back and forth. I know what I have written right here. I don't know if I want to go with it.
You
It's a
also look
weird.
at the Texans. They haven't really been clicking offensively all year either.
But is this line favoring the better defense, or is it favoring the better team?
I think it's
Or is
favoring
it favoring the situational spot?
I think it's favoring the better defense, but it's pretty close because yes, Texans are absolutely number one in the league for defense in my opinion. But Denver's right there. It's their top three, top five.
Right. So Houston defensively, first in points per game, first in yards per game allowed, for fifth in yards per play, third in takeaways, third in defense, third down conversion, fourth in yards per pass attempt, and second in completion percentage allowed, but the 31st in red zone D. So what that either tells me if they suck in the red zone or they just don't allow any teams to get down in the red zone. So the couple scores that happen to be against Houston just kind of up that red zone percentage for their opponents. So
Yeah, they're not really they're only allowing less than 15 points per game, so I think
right,
it's the latter.
right. Um, no Pat Surtain. We have to remember that too.
Ooh.
So, but the thing is like, is Nico Collins coming back? I mean, the Texans offense sucks, man. That's what makes this so hard for me to pick. Last game at work because they stuck to the short game, but oh, man, I just don't want to pick the
Dude, fuck, I
Texans.
forgot that
I
Stanley.
no. Riley Moss is the number one. I don't know, man. This game's such a toss up. Like this is a flip a coin game because if Denver's at home, I'm picking Denver all day. But
I want to change my
This Houston defense can literally win the Texans the game for them.
I wanna flip my pick. I totally forgot Sertan is out, and now you have Riley Moss as your CB1, and Moss has looked pretty bad this year. I wanna flip it, man. Sertan's a game changer for that secondary, and Nico or no Nico, I think Stroud is gonna target the that guy on Riley Moss, and he's gonna have success with it. I wanna change it. I wanna change it. I forgot about that dude. And this could end up fucking me at the end of the week, but like I'm changing it. I'm going Houston 23-16.
All right, man. Give me Denver 20 to
Oh,
17. We're gonna
you
go head to head
fucker.
on this. We're gonna go head to head. That's what I have written down. I have Denver written the cover the plus 1.5 spread and win 20 to 17. I want to pick Houston, but I got Denver written down, so I'm
Dude,
gonna stick with it.
this is so tough.
I know that's such a tough game. I'm gonna move on before I change what I want to say. Ja- Jacksonville and Las Vegas, I'll paint the picture, man. This game sucks. And I say that because Jacksonville has looked really promising at times, but they've also been really disappointing at times. Their huge win against Kansas City seemed to be nothing because they haven't won the last 2 games. So, Jacksonville looking to get back on track. Can they do it against Las Vegas? Hell yeah, man. Yeah. But the thing is, this is Jacksonville. Could they easily throw this game away? And yeah, they probably could. But this Raiders team offensively sucks. Genty hasn't shown much flashes outside of 1 or 2 weeks, maybe. Just a boring game, in my opinion. I think it's going to be defensive. I think, Jacksonville's favored by 2.5 points. I think they barely covered the spread. They won 23-20.
Yeah, I like it. Earlier I was like, ooh, this I could see the Raiders getting a win here. I can see it given
Give him it. Give him
Jacksonville
it. Go
has.
ahead. We're on the same side too much. Go Raiders.
But dude, I just don't trust Geno. I don't
I-
a good quarterback, and I don't want to pick the Raiders
Can
because of Geno.
can I give you one thing? If you're thinking about the Raiders, this is the one thing. I think the corners for Jacksonville suck. I think the Raiders could really expose Jacksonville deep in the deep pass
But they
game.
just got Newsom, who was better than Campbell.
Right, but hear me out though. What do we see against the Patriots? When they shocked the Patriots in week 1, they connected on a lot of deep passes. That's the only way I could see hope for Las Vegas, but I just think it's a bad game.
That's the
Bad,
thing. The Raiders haven't connected on those deep passes since.
correct. But
And Jacksonville, like Lawrence can connect on those deep passes. But then again, it's like there's a shit ton of trade rumors around Brian Thomas Jr., which is freaking stupid, by the way. Why are there trade rumors surrounding this kid? He's a second-year wideout who has looked lethal for that Jacksonville team. Why are you taking away one of Lawrence's only weapons? That makes zero sense. And I don't think they end up trading Brian Thomas Jr. And if they do, fire the entire front office because that is a dumb move. But Logan, I'm sorry, dude, but I gotta agree with you here. I don't like Geno. I don't think Geno wins this game. I don't think Geno even gets the Raiders 20 points. The only thing that the Raiders have hope is if Genti goes off, which he absolutely can. But given the whole situation, Geno sucking, Jacoby Myers wanting out, so there's some turmoil there a little bit. I gotta go Jacksonville. And I think it's pretty low scoring. I'm gonna go 16-9.
you, I mean, that's gross. Like I said, it's a gross game, man. I don't want to harp on this game too much. New Orleans in Los Angeles to face the Rams. The Rams are favored by 14 points, rightfully so. Tyler Shuck making the start, rookie out of Louisville for the Saints. They feel like it was a good decision to bench Rattler. I disagree with the decision. So be it. Rams gonna smack them 30 to 13. And what made me a little bit hesitant about this game is I don't like the Rams covering big spreads. We saw what they did against the 49ers when they were favored by 8.5 points. But it is the Saints, and I think if Rattler plays this, like if Rattler's playing this game, I think the spread's like 9.5, 10. So, is it a little too many points? Maybe, probably, but give me the Rams to score enough to cover the 14.
Yeah, I think they demolish the Saints. I'm not even gonna talk much into it. I'm just gonna give my score. I'm going Rams 44-16.
Kansas City and Buffalo game of the week, man. Game of the week. I wish Max was on for this.
Mm.
You kick it off.
So, what I have noticed in the Buffalo KC rivalry is that Buffalo wins in the regular season, Buffalo loses in the playoffs. This is a regular season matchup. It's in Buffalo. Buffalo's going to want to go out there and win this game in front of their home crowd, think that they're going to get revenge, but we all know they don't get that revenge unless they beat KC in the playoffs. Um, but statistically, in the regular season, Allen has Mahomes' number, which is freaking hilarious to say. So I'm gonna ride the consistency here. I like Buffalo at home, and this is game of the week for a reason. I have it as game of the week. I think Buffalo wins this game 34-31.
Chiefs public play, maybe, probably. Rasheed Rice improves this offense. This offense goes from a 6 to an 8.5, 9 at times.
Mhm.
The Bills are built around beating Kansas City based on recent losses in the playoffs. But I don't see the Bills stopping this offense. Let me check this out real quick. Let me look at the Bills depth chart. Still
See,
no Ed Oliver. Milano's back. Taylor Rapp's out. Shaq Thompson's out. He's shown some flashes. Yeah, I don't think they stop this Kansas City offense. This is this is not a good run game in Kansas City, and that's what concerns me in this game. But I think every single weapon in the pass game for Kansas City will shine this game. Mahomes' legs is going to be a threat in this game. I think this is where he really breaks it out and can, find a way to scramble for 50 yards. I think this is the most athletic he's ever looked in his career. It makes the defense play different. Okay. So when you got a quarterback that scrambles, now you got to keep a defender in that area just to keep an eye on him. Because if he breaks loose, you can't let a quarterback just sneak away with 20 because they'll pick you apart if you allow that happen. So it requires a defender to change his assignment and, keep an eye on Mahomes. I think Kansas City on D matches up with Buffalo. Buffalo's going to have to give the ball to James Cook. They have to. That's the key to success if you're Buffalo, in my opinion. We've seen this year where Buffalo shies away from that and it's bit them in the butt. Give me the better offense, give me the much better defense, and give me the better coach team. Give me Kansas City to win by the 1.5 point spread. They win 27-23 on the road.
Yeah, I mean, I like it. I do like it. I could see it going either way, but like I said, I gotta ride consistency here.
All right. I think you knew what I was going to pick anyway. Seattle in Washington. I'll kick it off. Bad pass defense in Washington. They hung around Kansas City. Marcus Mariota proved to be an A-minus backup quarterback in this league. And I say A-minus because he can still run. He proved that. And he can still make some throws. But like when you trust him in the situation where you really need him to perform, I don't think he really shows up. Seattle, proven to be a much better on the road. They're hot. They're consistent. Jackson Smith and Jingba might be the best receiver in the NFL so far.
Yep.
Sam Darnold is repeating what he did in 2024. This
Mhm.
Commanders roster is banged up. This Commanders roster is old. This Commanders roster is weak. Give me Seattle on the road. They're going to win this game 30-20.
Yep. I think Seattle's defense is going to have a field day, whether it's against Mariota or Daniels, in my opinion. I think that Seattle offense is going to torture. They're going to suffocate. They're going to torture. They're going to devastate that Washington defense. They're bad. They are a bad defense. And given that Seattle's coming off a bye week, they're, I believe, undefeated on the road. They're gonna have their way against Washington. I'm going 41-27.
Wow.
Mm-hmm.
Spanking.
Mm-hmm.
Last game, Cowboys at home versus the Cardinals. I'll kick it off, man. I think this game's better than people think. You got a 2-5 Cardinals team on the road against Dallas, who offensively has played great this season, and at home they played great this season. Um, but man, don't turn your back on this Cardinals offense now. Jacoby Brissett, that pass game looks a lot better than it did with Kyler Murray. Um, Cardinals are gonna hang in this game, but I think Dallas wins on a game-winning field goal. They win 38-35.
Dude, we got to get out of each other's heads. I was about to say the same thing. Don't underestimate the Cardinals. Every win they've had, every loss they've had, it's been close. It has been a close matchup every single time. But Dallas has been hot at home. They have CD, they have Pickens, Javante Williams is a dog. Dak is going up against an inferior opponent, so you can expect Dak to have a great bounce back game. I'm going with, like you said, going down the field and a Brandon Aubrey game winning field goal. I'm going Dallas 24-21.
Wow, lower scoring than I thought you'd pick though. Like I said, don't turn your back on this Arizona team. That defense is better than they are statistically. Coach Gannon's a defensive coach, defensive mind. He's a savage, man. I think he's got the respect of his players.
Mm,
Um, but yeah, I think we agreed on a lot of plays. I think there were a few that we disagreed on, but
I think
that could
that,
either burn us or really help us out.
yep, yep. Dude, I'm scared about switching back to Houston, but I'm rolling
Write
with
it
it.
out. Well, we need
I'm
at
rolling.
least something to go head to head with. I wonder what Mac's going to come out with. When Max gives us his picks, I'm going to implement them, his graphic, his pick at the start of each time, at the start of each game we talk about.
Do you
So,
have the records right now?
do I have the records right now? Didn't I share that? Didn't I share that with the group chat not too long ago?
You did, but that was for last week.
That was last week.
Hmm.
I'll have to get them and I'll put them in the video. What I'll do is I'll re-say something. I'll just introduce it. I'll cut it, and put it in at the start of the video.
Perfect.
So going into week 9, this is our records right here. As you can see what we did last week. You see what our records are right now. So going into this week, each one of us needs to have a good week against the spread. All of us need to catch up to 500 at least.
Hmm.
We've mentioned it plenty of times. The spread's hard to pick. No one's ever going to get 14 games right on the spread. Could you do on the money line? Maybe. That's even hard to do. Hard to
You've
do.
been close.
Right. But yeah, we just need we need a tough week, a good week against the spread. get us back on track, get us around 500. It'll make me feel a lot better about my record. I don't know about you because my money line record is pretty freaking good. So once I can get that spread 500 above 500, I'll be feeling great about what I've been picking so far. What about you? How you feeling?
Yeah, my spread record is not that good.
We're good. We're gonna get back on track though.
I'm gonna get back on track this week. My money line record, not as good as I hoped it would be, but after that 13-2 week, I think I climbed back up there a little bit. I know I was 3 games behind Max heading into last week, so we'll see what it looks like now, and we'll see what it looks like after this week. Who knows?
Hell yeah. So we're gonna start watching this Thursday night football game, Ravens versus Miami. Who'd you got on that side? I got my Baltimore.
Oh yeah, Baltimore.
All right, we both got Baltimore. This is In the Pocket podcast. So long.
Perfect.